Plus, I don't think we have anything we have to really vote on tonight. So maybe we'll just take a little heat from James.
Just make it informational.
Yeah.
Okay. So called to order at 6:07. Should we hold off on the minutes since we don't?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go back to that. Okay, so then I guess it's you, Jessica, reporting on fundraiser.
Okay, so Rick and Laura and I met last week, almost a week or two ago. So basically the concept has been, in lieu of doing the actual hoopla, do some sort of fundraising event that can get the community involved, that is low enough contact, but that we could maybe have something towards the end, you know, when spring and things open up more. So the concept was to do a combination of, we had different ideas of doing a dunk contest, a trick shot contest, all these different things. And Laura had the idea of doing like a bingo card, and then we could raise money off of that by selling it, and then have it be the hashtag Hoopla Challenge and have everybody submit under that hashtag. So we avoid a lot of the legal liability or ramifications, so that, and we can get both teachers, parents, and students involved. So we were talking about doing it from high school through middle school, and potentially doing like a more younger friendly version for the younger elementary school students if they'd like to get involved. We were talking about pricing of doing it, and Rick was going to get in contact with the middle school PE teachers about disseminating those cards, and you can make them on like a half card stock. And, you know, we were thinking sell them for like, either, we were thinking $5, but that might be too much. So $1 to $3 is where we're going. And then have them participate that way. Laura was gauging interest, and she said a lot of the high schoolers were like a little about doing it, but that they might be able to combine it with like raffling off t-shirts, because I guess everybody wanted, with the new logo, they wanted tie-dye t-shirts, and DECA wasn't able to like get them. So she was like, there was a lot of interest with that. Brenda's like nodding her head. So she was saying that would drum up a lot more interest. So sucks that she's not here, but I would say that that's where we're at. We created the bingo cards, and they're really easy to make on Google Docs, so they're pretty much set to go. I just have to finish putting in the like things, and you can rearrange them. So whenever, if we decide to do this, go to print, that would be a really easy way to do it. So that way people can submit things just under like a hashtag on any platform, and we don't have to worry about if there's consent or not, because they're posting it themselves under that, guys. So they don't have to send anything in. We don't have to necessarily house anything from a data perspective. And they can just either pay in cash, or we can have it set up. Carol, you said through the PayPal. You know, obviously $1 to $3 is, I'm not sure like what's the minimum you need to do for PayPal. I know there's usually that on credit cards. But that was kind of where we were at. And then it was wait and see how the reception is at the middle school and high school. And then we'll go from there in terms of that.
Are you saying that like by buying a bingo card, you're also getting an entrance into the raffle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if that were the case, maybe we could do the $3. Because maybe
kind of, oh, there's Laura.
There's Laura.
She can probably, my better half, she can probably explain things a little better on terms of the high school side. Rick, I don't know if you've heard anything from.
Sue thought they think it's a good idea. She hadn't gotten me yet. We spent some time talking again last Wednesday. To drum up the interest between the two schools and see if there's a little bit of a transition happening at Kellogg right now, but there's a new health wellness teacher who's coming on, and we feel real confident that he might even be a really good liaison to have over at Kellogg. So he's coming on board, I think, next week. So and I think she seems to feel, and so do I, that we'll get a really good participation through the middle schools, for sure.
Awesome.
They,
Laura,
they're, and
go
they were
ahead.
the target group for Hoopla anyway, and so
Uh-huh.
I think that'll be
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that our goal is really the 5th to 8th graders. And then, if we can get some fringe benefits on the side from the elementary and high school, that's great too. But Laura, we were just going over kind of the rough basics and then your findings at the high school in terms of reception and any of your thoughts.
Yeah, and I know that I had sent you that email, Jess, when I was kind of like spiraling with some ideas. So I agree. I think that the bingo board will be a hit across the middle school level age group of kids. I'm not too sure how much of a hit it would be with the high school. So I started thinking, well, how could we still kind of make some money for the Youth Adult Council and do a fundraiser type thing that high school kids would get into. And I know when we switched our mascot earlier this year, the DECA committee at school put together like a bunch of different shirts and things like that. And one of the questions I'd asked one of the kids, I said, like, it would be really great if you guys did like a tie-dye shirt with a Nor'easter logo on it. And they had mentioned that a lot of kids would be interested in that, like they wanted to do that, but the cost was too high to be able to place like that initial order before they had known if kids were going to be like purchasing them. So I kind of started going off of the idea of, well, like, could we tie it to like if we had shirts? So you pay $15 for a shirt. That also gets you a bingo card, and then you get to participate in both, and you get a t-shirt. I don't know, like I think like too, like with the changing of the mascot, like it's an opportunity to kind of continue to reach across the different schools. Like I know if you go to one of the elementary schools, you have your own mascot there, but you still fall under like the town of Newington and like Newington High School athletics and things like that. So I don't know, that's kind of where I went with it for the older age kids. But again, like then there's that upfront cost of purchasing the shirts. Do we know if like it actually will be a hit? I don't know. I think it's great feedback that we found out that for across the middle level, they think it will be a hit because like Rick was saying, that was the target audience for Hoopla anyway. So I started to get nervous because as I was talking to some kids and some of the staff at the high school, it wasn't as what's the word I'm looking for? I didn't see as much like interest. Like they were like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, but it wasn't like, yeah, definitely, I think this will be like a hit. So I'm happy to hear that across the middle level that it was more of a hit. I don't think given that information, we need to go and start doing anything extra from like let's try to sell shirts on top of it standpoint, unless people feel strongly like that would be a good thing to add and might elicit more participation. But that's kind of where I was for it. So I'm happy to hear that it was very well received at the middle level.
Laura, how much are the shirts?
So I don't know that. What I can tell you is that when they were selling the shirts out of the school store, just the regular, like either white, navy blue, or the gray t-shirts, they were running about $10.
bad.
So if we
and I
get a deal on printing shirts,
and I'm happy to have a conversation with Allie Miller. She is in charge of the school store and does all of that through DECA to see like who they use to print the shirts. The cost, maybe she would be interested in if we were to like look at purchasing the tie-dye shirts, like going in on it. And then it could be something that maybe DECA supports Youth Adult Council in selling the shirts at the school store at the high school. And maybe we help like offset costs. I don't know. But even if we just designed a shirt,
Like a
for,
Hoopla edition shirt.
yeah, it could be something like that. Our unofficial official mascot is a Yeti, so maybe something with the Yeti. I don't know, but I'm sure that she would be open to helping sell the shirts. I mean, they do the fundraisers all the time for like the Pink Out for breast cancer awareness and things like that. So I can reach out to her and then get some more information on cost and things like that, and then get back to us at our next meeting.
I think too, in terms of time wise, we were looking to start it at the end of March, like last week, because we were saying like March Madness, and then we were saying like you can get the tailwinds of that a little bit. You don't have to do it right at the beginning of March either. We can just kind of like, do things after, but we were trying to figure out like the timing and everything else, but weather gets nicer after March-ish. Still like gray season here. But I think one of the things too is like getting the staff as involved as possible, because they tend to be fun, a fun aspect of that. But I think it would be a good way if we did like a Hoopla edition t-shirt with the Nor'easters. That would be kind of cool. I mean, you could even like say like,
So I want to do a little math here out loud, because I realized I went back through the reports and the counts of kids that we actually, because the actual larger part of the money that we recover is through admissions and concessions. Very last one, the count before the night of the event, we had 56 kids signed up. We ended up with about 72 because, teams come in at the last minute and kids sign up. But if you put that in times $3, you're still looking at less than 250 as an overall take.
Right.
And I didn't think about that until earlier today, and then I kind of looked back through the reports and realizing, that when admissions takes in closer to 800 and concessions another 600-700, that's really where the bulk of the money is actually taken in and made. I mean, we've had years where concessions were off the hook. I think 4 or 5 years back, we took in almost $2,300 in concessions. And then admissions that night was even close to $2,000. So, I mean, I hadn't thought of that. And then I realized, when you got boots on the ground, people come in, they spend their money. And, so that's the downside of the actual, how much can you actually raise doing it this way. So I don't know if there's a supplemental thing that we can think about, or I think we'll get kids signed up. I just don't know that it's, and then I know that it's, a couple of bucks a ticket is not going to be a huge thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think when we were first talking about this,
Can't hear you, Jessica.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I think when we were first talking about this was like one of 3 fundraiser ideas. Like, I think
right.
Just to plant what Hoopla was is just nearly impossible to say like, oh, we could get this amount of money out of whatever. I mean, that's difficult. I think originally we were envisioning doing like one every month, do like March, April, May, and do like, I don't know, a staff versus students game or something, outside, or we could revisit it for May and stuff like that. It just gets really tight with all of the sports and the year end and that kind of stuff. And yeah, I mean, I think this was meant to be one aspect, but it's just one of those times where we're like, you can't necessarily replace what was a good thing going and then try and make the same amount of money off of it. I think.
Grandma, answer your phone.
Sorry. Carol, answer your phone. But I think, it's one of those things like, if we could do something else, that would be great. If not, what's that bare minimum we can do, right? I mean, I'm definitely open to whatever. Obviously, I think
anything we do is more than
more than
we
nothing.
did
I
last
think
year.
also, when we started talking about this in November, December, things were going up, cases are now going down. I don't know what that's going to look like again for whatever. So that's something to consider too.
We're raising this money for the scholarships, right?
Right.
Correct.
The goal is, how much do we have now? Do we have enough to cover this year's scholarships?
Yes. I don't remember the exact amount, Tim. It would be in our minutes from December's meeting,
Yes,
maybe? or
we usually give
November
out 2 scholarships of $500 each, right?
meeting. Right.
Correct.
Okay.
So we've got that in there regardless.
So, I mean, that being said, we have enough to cover the scholarships. So this would kind of just be like additional money to continue to add to that fund. And then hopefully next year we can get Hoopla back up and running, and maybe we add something like a staff versus students game as part of it.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's more enticing for the older kids than Hoopla. So for the high school, we do like a staff versus students basketball game as the fundraiser. And then for the middle school age kids, it's Hoopla. But I think since we are in an okay place financially, anything is better than nothing.
Right.
And this would be a way where with really no cost up front, we would be able to hopefully raise at least a couple $100, maybe more. We might be surprised.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, nothing beats like getting a bunch of kids together and doing it. It's just trying to do that from where we were 2 months ago is like still
And I think
pretty big.
the whole idea of keeping the name brand alive, so that it's not, we're looking at going into a 3rd season. And so it's a good idea to just try to revive at least something. And then, and then we'll see how things go.
I'm interested from the youth perspective, if they would be if they think youth would be interested in a Hoopla specific t-shirt, or if we just buy into the new mascot t-shirts that are a more global recognition.
I think that's what I would do. I don't think there are probably a lot of kids that, because we haven't had Hoopla in a couple of years now, they don't probably remember even what it is. And I'm sure they would pay money for a Hoopla t-shirt without
That recognition.
Yeah, right.
Brenda or Andrew or Sophia, any thoughts on that?
I'm in agreement with Tim because personally, a lot of the high schoolers at this point don't really know what Hoopla is. Like I've talked to a couple of my fellow Stuco members and they don't have no idea what I'm talking about, which is kind of sad. But also I think that moving forward, even if the high school logo or the mascot would appeal to more people than just the Hoopla would, because there are so many more students outside of the like basketball portion or student population at the school, that the general like just mascot and high school recognition would sell a lot better.
School spirit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even parents might want shirts, so it could extend beyond that. Kids at the elementary schools might want them. But yes, Brenda, I agree with everything you said.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does that, Laura, do you think step on the toes of anybody else if we're thinking that we might sell these t-shirts?
So I would want to have a conversation with Allie Miller. She runs our school store. And say like this was the idea that we had. We're not having Hoopla as we have in the past, and we're looking for a way to raise money. We know because they have their own sales for things. And again, that's done through DECA in the school store, but it doesn't mean that we couldn't potentially get involved with that and working with all those things. Like we do, like I said, the fundraisers, breast cancer awareness, things like that. So they have sold other types of shirts. I don't think it would step on the toes. I would want to have a conversation with Allie about that. And this would expand into the elementary and the middle schools, which really the high school store does not do. We were kind of reaching out to everyone when we were trying to get rid of the Indians inventory. But typically we do not reach out to the elementary and the middle schools when we're just selling the regular apparel. So it would go beyond the Newington High School store because we would be also reaching out to the other buildings as well. And we can even say like the community at large. It doesn't have to just be the Newington Public Schools, right? We can have this kind of put out there so that if maybe you have no kids in the schools but you want a new shirt with a new logo on it, and you want to support the Youth Adult Council, then you purchase one. So I think it could also go beyond the schools in town.
Always buying t-shirts for stuff. I love one.
Yeah. Well, and I'm just curious from Allie's perspective too, like because it is usually fundraisers for breast cancer or other things like that, kind of what's the cost differential and like what's the split on what the school store gets versus what, the actual charity gets.
But I'm happy to get all that information for the next time we come together.
Sounds good.
If we're thinking March, do we think we need a meeting between now and second Monday of March, or do we think we can meet second Monday of March and pull it together for the end of March?
Well,
I don't know.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I don't know with ordering the shirts. So I'll definitely talk to Allie this week. And I'll see like how the ordering goes. Like I said, it most likely will have to be us putting money up front, or we could look to take the orders first and then place the order. So like we don't buy the shirts outright. We see how many people are interested and then place the order. But then we could get stuck with very expensive t-shirts if not many people are interested. But that's where like I would look to Allie to say like, would the school store be interested in then taking like having some of the extras, right, to continue to sell? So if we only get, let's say 50 people that want to participate in this, which I think we will get more, but I'll use 50. But the cost to buy 50 shirts would be $20 a shirt, and we wanted to keep it at 10. But if we order 200 shirts, it brings the cost down. They might be willing to also support like the purchase of the shirts, and then we get 50 and they get 150. So I'll talk to Allie about that, because that could be something like, I don't know how much time it takes to get the shirts. I know that she gets them pretty quickly. But again, I can get all of that information, because that would just be the only thing that might delay like an end of March start date with how things are being like produced with orders now.
Okay, and I guess now that we've got the t-shirts in mind and the cards, are we thinking they can do a card or a t-shirt or a combo? So maybe it's like $3 for a card and $15 for a shirt and $16 for a combo or something. I don't know. I can't do the math that quick, but.
I mean, well, I think we want to get it to the breakdown possible anyway.
Okay.
I mean, I think we want to get out as much cards as possible anyway. I don't think it hurts to, have more people try it out. So, I mean, I don't know. Laura, what do you think? I guess it could.
Yeah, no, I actually, until you said that, Carol, I wasn't thinking of potentially splitting it. Like you could buy a card, or you can get a card and a shirt.
I'm just thinking if there's like less interest, then people are only going to buy the shirts and not the cards,
Right.
And we would like hopefully retain all of the cost of the cards because they're so cheap. So
now, would it be like too much to say we're going to just do the cards for this, like the hoopla thing, and then we'll do a secondary fundraiser at a different point in time where we try to sell t-shirts.
So maybe we do the cards for the end of March and the t-shirts for the end of April.
That isn't a bad.
That might
Yeah,
make
and
sense because tie-dye might be more popular in the spring or
Yeah.
more towards the spring than in March.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and then you could incentivize more of doing the cards and say like, I don't know, the top 5, you know, you get entered in a raffle and we auction off like 5 t-shirts, right?
Yeah.
And you get a free
Yeah.
t-shirt, 5 t-shirt, you know, we make however many available from that bulk order, right? And say like, whoever gets bingo, you know, whatever you're entered into the raffle. Using that hashtag, whatever, like I got bingo, whatever. If that makes sense. I don't think it hurts to do like 5 t-shirts,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
That way there's a little bit of a tie incentive to both of them, and that way we get more time to have the t-shirts, and then
And we're
more.
advertising the shirts as
Yeah.
we're selling the cards.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's good.
Okay. Anything else we have to fine tune on that, or we're good till March's meeting? We'll all,
We're
Well-
good. And as I get info, I've got
Yeah.
Jess and Laura's phone number, so we can, you know, connect. And then if we need to do a little impromptu, we can do that.
Perfect.
Okay. I have to just sign off. I have another commitment, but if anything else, you have my number if you need me.
we do. Thanks,
Okay.
Tim.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
Happy Valentine's Day.
You too.
Here we are. We're in a Zoom meeting.
Okay. So reports.
Okay, well, I'll get this show on the road here. So we have our score stuff, our registration. Our due date was last week, or actually on the 3rd, I believe. We have a nice number of kids, and I'm actively still getting calls from folks. I think as numbers go down and people are more comfortable with the weather and, you know, being able to have the kids out, I think we'll have more kids signed up for April vacation break. I'm starting to organize the calendar for the summer and contact some of the vendors. Anybody heard of Urban Air? Because I figured Jess might, because she's like all over the place with it. Somebody just told me, Nikki just told me about this. It's down in Orange, Connecticut, and it's like a combination of all kinds of stuff. There's like climbing stuff, there's zip lines, there's trampolines. It's like just this, I guess it's a national chain, but it actually looks like it might be interesting for some summer stuff, but also for some of our other things. It's you get a combo package and it includes pizza and drinks. And so it's kind of another new thing, which I thought, you know, things are getting kind of dull. Maybe the kids are, you know, needing something to stimulate them. I know the staff are. So I thought that was kind of cool. And they're kind of hitting into the Hartford area and trying to get more business with the schools and the parks and recreation stuff. So we're also looking to, you know, expand some of the stuff with our mentors. This month coming up in March, I'm going to start talking to the young folks who are just 9th grade this year. I've already had some preliminary conversations with some kids who are very interested in doing mentoring with us. Most of them have been with us as participants in the programs, and they were pretty excited and happy to be involved with that. So we'll have a nice crew this year. We're losing, I believe, 9 mentors to graduation. And although last year they were begging me to come back this year, and I told them I usually don't do that because you all end up way too committed and have a lot of things to do to get ready to go to school. And they all said, "Oh no, we're going to do it." And of course, none of them are contacting me. So I know that that's the reality. But we have a really nice group of high school students. And I know even though they're quiet here, that both Drew and Sophia are coming back to be second year mentors, which means that they will be mentors to the new mentors. So, or is it mentees? I don't know, mentees. And I'm really excited because this is going to be done a little bit differently this year. And we are going to also activate the 8th graders going into 9th grade a little bit more this year. We had some luck with that last year because we had a much larger group of 8th grade students going into 9th grade register last year. And I'm hoping for the same this year. So it's really kind of getting into a nice, almost a rite of passage, if you will, kind of a stepping into the high school and being active as mentors. So we have a really good thing going with that. The other thing that I'm hoping is that we can somehow start to generate a little bit more interest in some community service projects with the older kids. I know we one of the big things that we've done every spring is the big postal food drive, and maybe this year we'll be able to help out with that again, because we had the high school golf team come in one year, and I always have high school students. They invite their friends. They come and they take shifts over at the postal loading docks, and we get a lot of food. We fill up the truck, and even though we don't have as much room as we used to, it was a great day. So anyway, other than that, I'm kind of looking forward to the spring. This was actually, and I will admit this, I don't mind cold weather. Today was a little colder than I care. I don't even have my shorts on, so that was really very disappointing.
Cold then.
I've only not worn shorts 2 days this entire winter, and today was one of them. So, all right, that's it for me.
I want to let people know that we are, Ann McAdams, the clinical coordinator who came to maybe our September meeting or our November meeting, is planning a program called Unmask the Stash that's going to be on March 30th. And we're going to start, a blast pushing that out through hopefully schools and social media and so forth. So it should be a good informational session, hybrid. We're hoping to have up to 50 folks in person and also being able to sign on virtually with information about vaping and how to recognize the signs of use for parents with youth, and kind of addressing the increase in mental health needs post-COVID. I'd like to say post. Laura, anything from the schools? Or Brenda?
So I can, Brenda, do you want to jump in and kind of share what's been going on at the high school? Otherwise I
can. Sure. I don't know if I'll touch upon everything that you were thinking of, but sure. So musical season has started. The musical performances will be the 10th, 11th, and 12th. It is the second weekend of March, and there will be 7:00 shows every night and a 2:00 matinee performance on that Saturday. This year it is Into the Woods. Tickets can be found on booktix.com, and then if you just search the high school, the show will pop up. Oh my Lord. The formerly Truth About Hate, now Names Can Really Hurt Us, I believe is what it's called, is kicking off. Applications were due 2 weeks ago, and I think they're starting to get that rolling. Today was Pink, Red, and White Day to celebrate Valentine's Day and just lots of love everywhere. I know the student council decorated the hallways last week with a bunch of arts that were part of a homeroom activity where it was, what do you love about yourself, about your friend, about your school, about your environment? And we just got a lot of positive feedback and a lot of involvement in that. So that was fun. We also sold candy grams today, where it was a little lollipop, and students or staff could write a little message for $1 to be delivered to other students, other staff. That was very popular. We raised over $400, and that will be going towards childhood and brain cancer, which we are also holding a gray and gold day on the 25th later this month, where students pay $1 to wear gray and gold. Obviously, we can't stop them from wearing gray and gold, even if they didn't donate $1, but we're really trying to promote it. AP exams are in May. I know teachers are really starting to gear up for that now, which is surprising because it's February, but I think they're planning ahead because the past couple of years it's been a little cramped and rushed and crazy. Scholarships for seniors are due on Thursday, and the ceremony is going to be in May as well. I think it's one of the first weeks. But there's a lot of opportunities, so I know a lot of seniors are excited about that. A lot of seniors have also finished their college applications. So a lot of teachers are, I guess, promoting the colleges that the students have been accepted into. I know I have my Spanish teacher, Senora Rodriguez, has us bring in an acceptance letter, and she'll make a copy of it, blur out all the private information, and then post it on the backboard, and she's really proud. Valedictorian and salutatorian were announced. It is Bryce Turner as valedictorian and Alex Daha as salutatorian. Very proud and very happy for the both of them. I feel like there's other stuff that I'm forgetting, but I'm sure Miss Blanchard will fill you in.
So Brenda, you pretty much nailed it. I'm looking at my list right here, and you checked off all of the things I was planning on talking about and then some. So I don't have anything else to add. What I can say is that it's been really nice coming into the building after student council has decorated the hallways. And then we had a student who, as part of her National Honor Society community service project, left positive affirmations on every single student's locker. So I'm assuming that she had help from a group of peers, and the handwriting looked different, but they wrote these positive affirmations on Post-its, and then they put them on all of the lockers. So it's just really nice when things like that happen, and it changes just what it feels like in the hallway. Even just something as simple as a Post-it, like having those things out, the hearts on the wall, the snowflakes, you get more of that home type feel. It doesn't feel like you're in this very kind of like just like a school with hallways where there's nothing hanging up. So I've been very appreciative of that. I know other staff have as well, and the kids are enjoying it. So that was just one thing for me that like personally I found like very, very nice in a time like this, especially in the middle of winter. So I appreciated the hard work that student council and this student had done to make our hallways a more like welcoming, fun type environment.
That's awesome. Jessica, anything?
Oh, so much fun stuff. So middle budget talks. So we had already 2 budget meetings that were 3.5 hours. One on Wednesday that will probably go for 3 hours. So that's fun. It's really just the focus right now. A lot of talk about masks and stuff, which we don't have information yet. Just to clarify for everyone, boards don't vote on this until I think March is what I'm being told. So getting a lot of emails all the time. And so, yeah, I mean, I think we're obviously seeing a large downturn in cases, which is great. So there's just like a lot of things going on with the legislators starting and how that impacts our board and what we decide. But nothing on the agenda as of this. Our biggest agenda item right now is getting a $80 million budget through. So we're just going through all of the different sections. Our budget books are quite large, and there's a lot of parsing through that. So I am tired, but yeah, that's the big stuff. It's budget season. So by March, we should have answers for budget, for mass, for everything. That should work itself out in due time. But these next couple of weeks will be a lot. So yeah, it's just that time of the year, as they say.
Sophia? Is there anything you'd like to share?
Well, I don't have like much to say. Like the only thing I can think of is I know like marching band's gonna like march in the Memorial Day parade in like May, so I'm kind of like anxious to see how we're gonna do that. Like it might be too hot, so we might just have to wear like band t-shirts instead of the uniforms because they're new because we got them last year. So I'm just like, I don't know, that's basically all. I'm just kind of nervous, but also excited for it.
That sounds very exciting. Thank you. Andrew?
Yeah, pretty much everything has been said that I was thinking about talking about. School's going good, and you know, all of the Spirit Day we just had today, I participated in. I wore a pink shirt. But yeah, that's pretty much everything's been said, so I think I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm looking at the list. I think I hit on everybody. Alondra, I think had to sign out. Alondra is our student intern through May. So she'll be able to help us with some of this stuff as well. Okay. There we go. So I'm assuming no public comment because nobody else is on. Any motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone not in favor? Oh, the ayes have it.
Okay, thanks all.
Thanks, everyone.
Valentine's
Thank you,
Day.
everyone. Happy
Bye.
Terrible. I
Valentine's
had
Day.
bad manners. I should have introduced Alondra, earlier so she could. Okay, great. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
Talk to you.